Now they hating on my faith, but they made me what I am. They hate me cause of Trump. What they gotta do with this? What they really gonna show? That everybody hate Chris. Yeah. It's gonna be legendary right here, man.
Let's get it.
Word. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. I'm just here to bring the facts. I'm not worried about your feelings. It's the way that y'all react. It goes way beyond the killings. Y'all can focus on the bad while I keep being the realest. Got me looking at the stats, trying to find out what the deal is. Take a look at DOJ, murder rate and what they say. 52% on homicides, like we ain't taking vacay. Data sad, I don't get it. Then you blame it on your payment. No, it's not. You just ignorant. You the problem. Just admit it. Tired of us going through this cycle. Blaming others means you in denial. Situations getting dire. This is vital. So it's time for us to crack open the Bible and get back to the truth.
Yeah, I know you ain't gonna like it. Yeah, I know you ain't gonna like it.
Some of you ain't got a clue.
Heaven knows that I'm fighting. Heaven knows that I'm fighting.
Get them back to the truth.
A black liberal ain't nothing but a house Negro. I said it. I just said it. Drop the bomb. Boom. A black liberal ain't nothing but a house Negro.
See that nonsense stretching, venom in the comment sections. Off a limit, calling it progression. All you wanna do, follow deception, no direction. See the scope, it's to and dope. Every argument will go past yours, and why they're feeding us like goats. See now, only gonna find a way truth into thy. Knowing about it, but taking two from the fight. Maybe you don't make it out doing right. They'll kill you and they will it suicide. Whistleblower, just some you're just a voter. Never wanted you to be a pistol holder. Every candidate been a joker. Oh no, sir.
Tired of us going through this cycle. Blaming others means you in denial. Situations getting dire, this is vital. So it's time for us to crack open the Bible and get back to the truth.
Yeah, I know you ain't gonna like it. Yeah, I know you ain't gonna like it.
Some of you ain't got a clue.
Heaven knows that I'm fighting. Heaven knows that I'm fighting.
Get them back to the truth.
Y'all so pressed but master to swear up and down that Black Lives Matter and that they need y'all need master and master need y'all. I don't need nothing from nobody. I got Jesus, baby.
I'll circle back if there's more I can share with you. I'll circle back with you if there's more to convey. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back with him. I'm happy to circle back with you. I can circle back. I'll have to...
It's pretty obvious we all know you're pretending. You have no actual facts for the lies that you're defending. Conservatives not the only ones who find it condescending. The real reason you circle back is cause you know it's never ending. Round and round and round you go, dancing like a puppet show. Just a simple yes or no. Thousands watching wanna know the truth. I guess there's too much to ask. Like why Biden was at the Lincoln Memorial without a mask, huh? Can't believe what I'm seeing now. Got everyone thinking now. Just how much you get paid. Only just to hear you say.
We'll circle back with you.
Dear God, be with the show and help us to bring the noise. In your name, amen. Gonna squeak out the prayer, man.
Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. We are the two kings of the Rube Empire. where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Wednesday night right here on twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, anywhere you can get a podcast. You can also find us on Minds. I'm going to start uploading to Rumble. And
Rumble. Raul.
Yeah. And I am the Philosopher King, the Ivory Tower.
The mad scientist.
Yes, the mad scientist Matt. And I've got a perspective on things.
What you gonna do, brothers, ladies, gentlemen, brothers, sisters, brother? I'm the strong one, and I have a perspective on things as well. I happen to be the Iron King, the ebony, the rampart, ebony rampart. Is I messed that up every single time?
Ebony Rampart.
Ebony Rampart, the people's champ, the people's choice. Guys, welcome to Plausible Foolishness. I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for you guys. And dear Lord in heaven, I have to ask forgiveness every single time I do this, but
I don't know why you have to ask forgiveness.
Go ahead, Dust. I just feel dirty.
I'm
I just
only
feel
to the
dirty
right
saying
hand
it.
of you.
Just,
Come on.
Just,
I'm the producer. I pay the
Go ahead.
taxes.
Go ahead, Dusty. Go ahead, bro.
What? I'm done.
Oh, that's it? That's it, Dusty?
That's it.
Hey, Dusty, what do you think about that, man?
I think it's pretty
Silence!
awesome.
Dusty! Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. I'm so excited. I just screamed in my house. I probably terrified my children. So fun story of the day, boys. You ready for this one?
Ready.
Fun story. So I moved into, I've become Mr. Suburbia, after traveling the world and living in glorious places like Ohio and Los Angeles, and I say that with all facetiousness. I settled down in this absolutely beautiful, amazing place called Florida, and I love Florida. I am true blue Florida. I mean, I have to fight every single day to not get DeSantis tattooed across my chest. Okay, that's how Florida I am. Okay,
And he
But
has
ladies and
been
gentlemen.
rocking epically.
huh?
He has been rocking epically.
He has been rocking the Casbah, but I will never put another man's name on my chest. Of course, I am kidding, but I bleed the Florida colors.
Constitutional carry, though.
Seriously, right?
Well,
Amen to
apparently,
that.
I looked it up. There was a House bill that was presented, but it got shut down in the
Good.
Public Safety Commission bullcrap or whatever,
Please.
Yeah, and then it
But for
hasn't
now-
been that was in January and hasn't been touched since.
True. But for now, Florida is a glorious place. It is the last beacon of hope for freedom in the
And
world.
for women's sports.
And for women's sports. It's
Yes,
the
women's
last
sports
beacon.
can still be women's sports.
Did you know that
I mean-
California stopped state travel to
Yes.
Florida and 4 other states over that very issue?
Yes.
Hey, well, I would hate to say that I'm sad about it, but I'm not.
Citizens of California can still go wherever they want.
True,
But-
true.
If you're-
Employees of the state, you can't go on official business.
Yeah,
We're
so,
not
like-
talking to you anymore, Florida.
So
Uh,
extradition
okay.
conferences, like, sheriff office conferences, things like that. No going to Florida. No going to Texas.
I hate to quote the prophet Ross from Friends, but fine by me. Literally, that's fine.
We were on a break.
We were on a break. I've been watching way too much Friends. Now, that's how suburban I've become. I've been watching Friends on my downtime, living in Florida, so on and so forth. Okay, so the federal government tried to lock down the state of Florida. They were successful for about how long were we in that? For 5 weeks, 6 weeks,
2 months.
Yeah, it was about
2 months. 2 months we were locked down. Blah blah blah. Then Florida rebelled like they
Well,
should have.
And you were swangry.
I was very angry to the point where I'd shifted my normal funds that I take to leave the country on vacations with my wife and kids and blah, blah, blah. And I invested it
Why do you
into...
hate America, bro?
Huh?
Why do you hate America, bro?
Oh, I love
Seriously.
America. I am spreading
bro.
the
Doesn't
news
sound like
about America.
you got a fund to get out of here.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
I love America, but
What, you going to throw the hammer throw?
Well, first of all, I did in college.
That's how much. That's how much you hate America.
Hey, first of all, I'm so American. The viewers can see. Those are 6 All-Americans right there, kids. That's how American the strong one is, because he's got 6 of them and a natty and a Hall of Fame. But who's counting at this point? Now, my point is this. The strong one is I'm very suburban, so I'm driving my kids around, and of course the kids have met other. Huh?
In a Suburban?
Not in a Suburban, not yet. I've not fully embraced it yet. I will probably be down the road. But now here's the deal. Driving my kids around, and there's a neighbor lady that walks around the neighbor kids. She watches all the neighbor kids, blah, 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 blah. Violet and Raven are huge friends with all these kids. So, of course, Daddy's doing his thing, driving down the road. And Violet says, "Hey, stop real quick, Daddy. I want to say hi to my friends." And, of course, me being the father of the year, the Bill Cosby that I am. Just kidding, I am not, but we will get to him later in the show. Father of the year. Stop. What?
Do we need to talk to your wife?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, once she wakes up.
Right now?
Well, once she wakes up from the lewds that I gave her. But anyways, here's the thing. Okay, what? Did I say that out loud? Now, here's the thing. I stop for the children. They say what's up. And, of course, the neighbor lady that...
no.
Huh?
Yeah, no.
Like, no.
No.
Just kept driving.
Hi, kids.
No.
Hi, kids.
I was a sweet husband, sweet dad, so I stopped for the kids. They're like, "Oh, hi." And they're talking about blah, blah, blah. Okay, now the neighbor lady proceeds to tell me, "Oh, hi. I love your kids, but can I tell you something?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. What can you tell me?" "You scare me." I'm like, "What?" Right? I was waiting for that institutional racism that they keep telling me about. I haven't experienced it here in Florida, but I was waiting for it, right? Because sweet old white lady, "You scare me." And I'm like, "Whoa, what did I do?" And she's like, "When you open your garage and start working out, you scream a lot." And I'm like, "Oh, probably do." So imagine this old lady carting 5 kids with her around the neighborhood in a monster of a man. I don't know. Maybe that's me.
A silverback and lifting.
Yes. I'm silverback. I'm just yelling and screaming. And I don't realize I probably am that loud in the gym too, but it's a normal environment thing there, so
the lunk alarm.
Yes, the lunk alarm. So listen,
our mutual
just
friend
like
Adam
Miss
has said
Berry,
on many occasions,
yeah,
you are the loudest person he has ever met.
Yes, that's true. Very true. Just like Miss Berry, who pretends that there's all this racism out there. I literally thought I finally found it, and all I found was meathead discrimination. That's all I found. So the search for systematic, huh?
You can find meathead discrimination here too.
Yeah, listen. Exactly. Here's the thing, man. I'm still in search of the racial discrimination they keep telling me that I'm supposed to feel every single day. So maybe you guys can help me out with it today on today's show. The Misinformation Station. Huh?
I can help you find it.
Okay, find it. Find it for me right now. Go.
See, what you're not seeing behind the layer. You're seeing what's presented in the first layer, meathead discrimination.
Gotcha.
What you're not seeing is that if you were white, she wouldn't even have the meathead discrimination.
True. I just, listen, I just used my rational mind and conceded the truth that I am probably very loud when I'm lifting weights. And I just didn't see that underlying racism. You know what I mean? I just didn't see it.
You can never take a white person at their word.
Speaking of which, go ahead. Me,
because I'm an ally. Okay?
No. You're not an ally. You're not an ally. You're not, because here's the thing, man. You have Jew in you, so you're part of the oppressive. You're an oppressor. The whitest guy we got is behind the desk over there, man.
No, see, I'm passing though. So.
Oh, jeez.
I got you.
It's okay it's okay to hate Jews. Just ask Ben Shapiro.
Hey, yeah. You know what's so funny about that, though? Just sidebar. The anti-Semitism out right now is so obvious and blatant. And it's like, You can't, in one word, call Orange Man a Nazi and call all of his followers Nazis, but then hate Israel at the same time. You can't do that. That would be
Hate
liberal
Israel,
logic. You can't
say
do both
garbage
of
like
those.
what we were just joking about. You know, you pass as white, so it doesn't matter that you're Jewish and that you're historically been oppressed.
Yes,
For
the most oppressed people of all time. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
not probably, historically. I mean, how long were they in Egypt for? How long were they there? 400 years?
430 years.
430 years? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, that kind of beats the 200 that the 200 years of oppression, 250 years, even though America was founded what year? 1776.
Well, no,
that's when they declared
the 250 is actually more accurate. Well, more accurate. They actually say 400 plus years.
Yeah,
No.
They might even say 430.
Yeah. Hey, did the Jews sell the Jews out to the Egyptians? Is that how that worked? I thought there was only one case of that with Joseph. Did the Jews, as a people, sell out the Jews to Egypt?
No.
I can't remember. I'm mixing my history up right now.
They did. They sold one man, Joseph.
One.
And then through him, the Jewish people were saved. And then there arose a pharaoh in Egypt who didn't know Joseph.
Oh, so they didn't attack their own kind in Africa and sell them to the white man to start the slave trade, correct?
Oh, well, shh. Can't talk about that.
Sorry, I'm getting on a tangent today. This is just a misinformation station. Trust nothing that we're saying. And ladies and gentlemen, you can't trust what the media says either. We talked a little bit last week about Mr. McAfee. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
McAfee.
McAfee.
Now, listen, the Washington Post came out and said, even though it was very apparent the guy was prepared for the fact that he was going to get suicided, he was going to get killeried, he was going to get what's the phrase they used? They were going to what did we sing before the show, Matt?
We are going to kill yourself.
We are going to kill yourself. Okay, get the Epstein treatment.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, did you see the polls on how many people actually believe Epstein killed himself? 24% of Americans believe that Epstein killed himself. Now, first of all, it made me laugh when I saw that. I realized that, well, at least, 76% of Americans are smart enough to realize that that's bullcrap? Mm-hmm. Which actually matches our media belief rate. Only 29% of Americans actually believe the media right now. 29% of Americans.
We're the worst in the world.
Worst in the world for media. Okay? So at least that gives me hope.
The Russian people.
The
Chinese people.
Believe their government more than
their media. More than Americans believe.
Now, as a natural skeptic, that warms my heart. Okay? That tickles my cuckles, that gets me excited to know that many Americans don't trust the media and don't trust what's being said to them, right? Because think about this. Oh, what we got?
Flame, welcome to the Rubin
Welcome,
Empire.
bro. Welcome, stud. But that makes me happy that at least they can't completely get away with this. Now, what's funny is I don't think they polled if people think that this election was fraud. Have they polled that yet? Whether people believe the results of the 80 million that magically came out?
I don't know if in an official scientific poll,
I would be curious to see how many
a
Americans.
Fox News poll or whatever,
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how many Americans actually believe this fraud. That it is what it is. But what's funny is, in normal news cycles, the whole McAfee, is that his name? I keep messing it up.
John McAfee.
John McAfee. In a normal news cycle, we would have just believed that he killed himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But thank God for all the fake news, and thank God for the Donald Trumps and the disruptors that have kind of broken the power structure with the mainstream media to the point where people are like, yeah, they killed him. And what's funny is watching the media, who has literally 76% of anyone else that has a brain questioning everything they say, them attempting to kind of control this story and say, well, we heard there was a suicide note. Who verified it?
Who
The guards
who
didn't
came up
verify
with
it.
that note? Was that Washington Post? Did they post that?
I mean, I thought it came from, one of those tabloid papers, but, Washington Post just said there was a suicide note. Even though his wife confirmed that he was fine, his lawyer talked to him that day. He got a tattoo of whacked. He got a jailhouse tattoo, whacked, tattooed on his arm to tell people that, hey, they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. But he killed himself. Wink, wink. Which makes complete sense, right? That makes sense to you guys, right?
Oh yeah.
It's the ultimate troll, my friend.
Isn't that what Tim Pool said? Or this is just the ultimate troll.
He wasn't positing it as real, but just positing it as is this a possibility? But overall, their consensus was, nah, he got.
Yeah, he got Epstein. He got Hillaried. Just like, Christopher Stein and numerous people who have ever had dirt on the Clintons or the deep state people that get whacked. It's just really simple, but it's interesting how that works, right? It's interesting how people can kind of get away with that and no one talks about it, right? Because here's another fun one today. We did find the weapons of mass destruction, boys. Did you know that? We found them.
Wait, what? We found the yellow cake?
We found not the yellow cake. Truth be told.
Seriously, because I really like that with the chocolate frosting.
I was gonna say,
that's
is
bad.
it still moist?
Moist.
I like that word. Most people hate.
I like that word too. Why do people not like that word?
I don't know.
They're like moist. Ew. I remember. That was like girls in high school used to say that. Like it was the coolest thing ever.
Deep state.
What?
So
What do you say?
So on the right hand of the Kings tried to log into Twitch just now and found out that his account got suspended.
Canceled, actually.
It's canceled altogether. Okay.
Apparently, they don't like talking about conservative ideals on liberal stations.
Wow, really?
And so he just posted in the chat that my old account got canceled. Deep State immediately responded, "Oh, that's too bad."
Deep State?
Deep State did it again. Oh my goodness, Deep State. But yeah, I mean, you guys remember that in high school when girls would be like, "Oh, moist! Oh my gosh, that's like the worst word ever."
I had a friend. I was in Brain Bowl. Believe it or not.
First of all, of course you were. Of course you were.
They wanted me in that weight room, but I was like, no. I'm going to Brain Bowl.
I'm lifting weights with my brain.
No. I'm flexing the only muscle that counts. This one.
And my friend Moises was in there with me.
Moises.
Yeah, it's Moses, but the Spanish way,
Okay. What's this?
So Moises.
Yeah.
And one of this was our what's the second year? Sophomore. It was our sophomore year. And one of the seniors saw how his name was written and immediately he's like, "Your nickname's Moist." And he called him Moist for the rest of the year. And he hated it. And I thought it was hilarious. And I've loved that word ever since.
And I hate to say this, but we did not find moist yellow cake with the chocolate icing. We did not find that at all. We didn't even find the $1 trillion that was lost in the Pentagon on 9/11. Yeah, the same day that 9/11 happened. We did not.
We just made more. We made many more. It's no big deal. We're good.
How come a lost $1 trillion never ends up in my pocket? Have you ever noticed that? Like, they lose $1 trillion in it. Huh?
It doesn't end up in any of our pockets.
That's exactly. It's
They
crazy.
even give us money and it still doesn't end up in our pockets. I'm still waiting for mine.
Are you still waiting for your stimmy?
Yeah. I haven't gotten
Wow. You know what it was? It was that Trump truck rally you did, bro. They flagged you, man. Huh?
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. They're going to indict you pretty soon. The FBI is going to come for you for January 6th, man. They're going to be like, "We knew you were there, man."
My Twitch account's probably going to get deleted after this one.
Yeah, right.
Too conservative. Too conservative. Get off.
You were so conservative. Now we're gonna let the potential drug rapey Bill Cosby out of prison, but you are going to jail, bro. You're going to jail. But anyways,
Account
allegedly, huh?
Account jail.
Account jail. But like, sorry, but they didn't find the yellow cake. They didn't find any nukes. But Donald Rumsfeld died today. So, wow. Really, really, I can't lie and say I'm sad. I didn't know the guy personally or whatever. I'm sure he's rotting in hell somewhere right now. But my point is this: if y'all don't remember Mr. Rumsfeld, sorry, did I just say he's rotting in hell? Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
You did say that.
Hey, sorry, not sorry. But anyways, what did Dave Chappelle used to say? He's like, oh, blah blah blah, the things I need to say. Okay, and moving on. Yeah, here's the thing, and I get it, man. This is gonna trigger the hardcore Republicans. I've registered Republican, but I've never claimed to be Republican. I've always been, I was down the middle. I thought I was down the middle until I moved to California. This is a story we, whatever talked about. But I do remember Rumsfeld. Do you guys remember Rumsfeld press conferences when he get pressed on anything?
Well, those
No, I wasn't paying enough
WMDs.
attention I wasn't paying enough attention back then.
Dude, the funny thing was so I remember like it was yesterday. I remember, it's my freshman year of high school or senior year of high school. Planes hit, 9/11 happens, bad stuff. And you could already see like a couple weeks, like I've always kind of been into politics in some form of fashion. Like, my dad was a Ross Perot guy and I really liked Ross Perot, and that ended up still being awesome till today because that guy had the right ideas for a lot of things, right? But I've been paying attention to it for a long time. I sadly supported John McCain over George Bush. Come to find out, they're just both scummy. So there's a lot of things that I kind of saw in the political sphere or whatever. But I remember distinctly when I was in high school and then my freshman year of college, I was like, they're going to just use this as an excuse to go back to Iraq. And it was funny. It's like, wait a minute, in the pressers, you'd be like, okay, so who's our main enemy? Oh, Osama bin Laden. Because remember, they knew that immediately after the planes hit the tower somehow. It was Osama bin Laden, right? Y'all remember that?
They actually knew before then, and during Clinton's presidency, that Osama bin Laden was a bad guy and chose not to take him out.
Yes. Good job, Clinton. But what's weird is the same day 9/11, the only plane that took off that day was the bin Laden family out of the country, but we won't talk about that either at all. But what's funny is that whole situation was as the wheels were turning, the war engines were turning, magically, we needed a reason to go to Iraq, right? We had to find a way, right? And Donald Rumsfeld is infamously known, and if you don't know this, look this up. He was pressed on losing $1 trillion that was supposed to go to defense for the United States of America. It was in the Pentagon. And magically, that section of the Pentagon was hit by the plane that hit the Pentagon. And I say that with air quotes because I'm just trying to keep our stream up. Because, the official word and everything like that. It was a bomb. But anyways, $1 trillion was lost, which is magical because Rumsfeld's on the ground right there. Right afterwards, searching the wreckage of the plane, even though there wasn't plane wreckage. But he was there.
Well, they didn't need to build that new wing of the Pentagon, so they just used the planes to dig the hole.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So, right? But what's funny is Rumsfeld was the mouthpiece of weapons of mass destruction. Mm-hmm. He was the guy that was going up there and he was saying, hey, media, there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
WMD.
Really?
WMD.
Do you have evidence of that? Of course we have evidence of it. But are you sure? Oh. And he's Jedi mind tricking the media to the point where, and don't let the media forget this, because they've been complicit in this too. They believed it and they pushed it. Hey, we're going to Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction. Hey, we're going to Iraq with weapons of mass destruction. And we went to Iraq, right? Mm-hmm. Every single day we lost guys. We lost guys in our generation. We lost 5,000 of our troops just in that altercation with Iraq. And do you know what we found?
A really bad guy doing really bad things, but no weapons of mass destruction.
Bingo. We overthrow a dictator to only lead to the what did Obama call them? The JV League?
No, we're not.
In
Huh?
Iraq?
No.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
What's
What
up?
do you mean we're not?
Now
Obama
what?
pulled us out.
What?
We're not in Iraq. We still supply Iraqi forces with materiel, but we're not actually in Iraq anymore.
The problem is you can't confirm or deny where our guys are. Because remember last week, did we talk about on the show that Biden bombed the border of Libya and Syria? Did we see that or not?
We
talked about it.
No, we didn't talk about it.
I don't think it had happened yet.
Oh, yeah. So long story short, Biden's more concerned about the border of Syria and Libya than he is our border. So anyways, which is funny because he's bombing freedom fighters that were back from Iran from our money that we gave them back from the Iran deal. So we so essentially we funded the people that were bombing. So our money's going on both ends of that. Yay, America.
Yay.
Now,
we know how to spend our money.
we know to spend it well, just blowing up our own money. Now, that being said, no weapons of mass destruction. Rumsfeld is literally the signature, is the face of this. No one calls him to task at all in the media whatsoever. At all. As much as, now think about this in comparison to how much they roasted Orange Man for 4 years. Made up a Russian collusion hoax, made up the Ukraine call, tried to impeach the guy twice, correct?
Yes.
Tried to impeach him twice. Made up the story that he created an insurrection. He created an insurrection. Roasted this guy forever. But Rumsfeld is on the record losing $1 trillion and starting a war that cost 5,000 of our soldiers' lives, killed countless Iraqis for nothing.
Wow.
Well, the Dems were with it.
Yep, they voted for it.
But that's what I'm saying. Because they're all globalists.
Yeah, I know.
But you roasted Orange Man.
There's some more to the story.
Like what?
Like the fact that we were... So he's claiming that we have intelligence that there's weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, he kept saying it, right?
Okay, yes, I agreed. That it was being said.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the UN, I believe, is trying to get people in to verify.
Yep.
And Iraq is blocking them at every turn.
Yes.
Sure.
So it looks bad.
It looks bad.
So and then for weeks and weeks, Bush is telling Saddam, let the UN inspectors in, or we're going to escalate this to war.
Yes.
And he doesn't. He never does. And so then we go to war. Now, is it possible that there were no WMDs? Very. And that this was all a,
smoke screen?
A smoke screen, just an excuse.
Hey,
that's true. It's possible.
America never does hoaxes, but yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. But that was happening, and people tend to forget that.
Yes.
Sure.
But Saddam Hussein was a very bad guy. I said that earlier.
But here's the problem. There's a lot of bad guys.
He was killing his own people.
Sure.
As well as just 8 years prior had invaded Kuwait and burned all of Kuwait's oil fields.
Sure.
And we had to invade Iraq, but we didn't quite go far enough because UN went, "Hey, no, we got it from here. We got it from here. You can go away."
He was installed as part of.
He was installed. Again, we created the problem that we ended up.
We actually didn't install him.
Who installed it? Who installed
Britain,
Saddam?
France, and
Germany.
No, it was post World War II.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about the coalition, but it wasn't us.
Yeah, we weren't involved in that particular reworking of the Middle East.
Correct.
And they
But we
did
have
it
to
so that
clean
there
up.
wouldn't be another caliphate.
Correct.
True. But
And it was they had set up specific families in different countries so they would fight each other and not
Exactly.
us
That's why, like,
or Europe.
that's
I
why,
should
like,
say.
there's 3 people groups in Iraq. You
yes.
know? So that they're constantly fighting each other and not coalescing into a world threat.
True. Now, did that require us to be a part of it?
No. Should we have gone to war? Probably not.
Did we ever find weapons of mass destruction?
No, but we
No.
also gave him a lot of time to move weapons of mass destruction.
into
But we can't verify
one
it
country
if they
that
existed or where
they
they
were
went.
fighting against.
Yeah.
Huh?
He moved a lot of his weapons into the one country that he was supposed to be fighting against, Iran.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I'm not saying that this is that any of this was legit or any of that.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just these are events that need to also be remembered.
100%. Because context
there's
matters,
nuance
right?
to all this, not just the superficial overlooking everything. There's nuance to it that plays
Fair.
a big part in every story.
Fair.
And unfortunately, the media doesn't cover nuance. They cover headlines.
Sure.
And what was the headlines of that time?
Well,
a
weapons of
few
mass
years
destruction,
into it,
weapons
it
of mass
was,
destruction, yellow cake.
Yeah. At the time, yes, and then a couple of years later, it was Bush lied and people died.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, here's the issue, and this is what I'm getting at. Is it possible that happened? Is it possible that Saddam had enough time to move everything to Iraq or
I
Iran?
don't know. I have no idea.
Now, that being said, all of that being said, based on the performance of the federal government in the last 20 years of our lives, do you trust them to even tell you the actual story?
No, of course not.
Because if it didn't happen, which, based on what I've researched, there wasn't any, and they weren't there, okay, would they even own it?
No, they'll
They
own
still-
it.
listen,
They'll own it
they-
like 20, 30 years from now.
But here's what I'm getting at. They don't even own the fact that this was never a pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, have you noticed that the government...
Pandemic?
But here's the thing. The government, pay attention to this, people, and I'm telling you, everybody that's listening right now, pay attention to government officials right now, the last 3 months. They have not said the word pandemic.
No.
Haven't said it. Do you know why they haven't said it?
Could it be that the CDC changed their numbers and all of a sudden that it's not really as dangerous as people thought?
It never was a pandemic.
And Fauci emails leaked.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, the Fauci emails leaked, right? But they had ahead of that before because they needed a scapegoat to destroy, right? But notice, no one's calling it a pandemic anymore because it never was.
No, it's a
The
pandemic.
numbers, it was 10 times less than the threshold of even calling it a pandemic. And they knew that from the beginning. So that government is telling you that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Think about this. That government told you that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. That government now is trying to tell you that McAfee somehow killed himself. Think about this. This is the Misinformation station, kids. We're just pointing you in the right direction. That's all I'm trying to say. You feel me? That's
exactly.
all I'm trying to say. You understand where I'm
Simone
coming from,
Beans
right?
commented, Delta strain is overtaking the current strain, is it not? And all I have to say is the other strain, or you mean the 6,000 deaths the total deaths that COVID did? 6,000?
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
the hundreds of thousands that they said. Oh,
Yeah.
and they went back and started testing some of the old samples. All of them were influenza. Every last one of them.
Well,
The
of
tests
course.
that they made are wrong.
Now, they'll fix this 20 years from now. They will. 20 years from now, because here's what happens. The government is really insidious this way. They will make a horrible decision, not own it in the time, but then they'll retroactively say, well, because think about this. Think about the generation before us. Gulf of Tonkin happened, right? There was a reason for us to go to Vietnam. Here's the Vietnam Memorial. In hindsight, now we're like, yeah,
We probably
it
should
was
have been.
bad.
We lied.
Should have
about
done it.
Gulf and Talkin wasn't real.
Yeah.
We released
No.
the papers, but nobody cares.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If you wait long enough, nobody cares. And that's why when Trump had a chance to release the JFK files, sorry, I feel like Alex Jones right now, he still he released them, but they're very redacted.
Yeah.
So what are they putting in the water?
Yeah. Put fluoride in the wall. Turn the It's Pride Month, so you might as well give them some gay frogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But but this is what I'm getting at, and why I'm saying this in real time is for a couple reasons. Like, you got to understand that if we are going under the premise that the government lies to us, the media lies to us, and we don't trust it, we got to keep in mind that information that's coming out right now is probably bullcrap. Just like the Delta variant, that's bullcrap. We already have Rand Paul blowing that up right now, right? We've got people telling us right now that McAfee killed himself. That's complete hogwash.
McAfee.
Go ahead, McAfee, whatever his name is. It's hogwash.
Not McAfee. McAfee.
McCaffrey? McAfee?
Mac
Daddy?
McAfee.
John
Big
McAfee.
Mac?
Dear Lord,
I-
pick up a HP computer and it'll have McAfee all over it.
I've got a Dell. Does that count? Or I have an Acer right here. Is that okay?
Who owns Acer?
I don't know, bro.
Who owns Acer? I think it might.
I don't
be
know.
HP.
HP owns Acer, Dell, and
No, Dell's its own company.
no.
Yeah.
HP
Dell's its own, bro.
Yeah.
Isn't it? No? Yay, nay?
Dell's its own.
Hey, bro.
I thought
As long as
HP
it's not
and
made in
Dell were
China,
about
I'm good.
the Same company.
But think about it. Any of this information that's presented, anything, any of it, you can't trust it.
Yeah, you can never know about parent companies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
But here's the other thing. No one's talking about the border right now. Y'all notice that? The only thing that was said about the border is, oh, by the way, Princess, what's her face? Kamala?
Kumali.
Kubala?
Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala?
And we talked about this last week. Magically made it to the border a couple days before Trump made it there, right?
Yeah, because how dare Trump try to beat her there?
I saw a graphic that showed where she was.
And where the problem
and
was.
then, like 1,000 miles, and where the actual problem was.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, I don't know if that was true. I didn't look any further than that.
El Paso, Texas versus southern border of Texas.
Yes.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, too. Have you guys been to El Paso before?
No, I haven't been
Okay. In El Paso, you can clearly tell where America is and where Mexico is, okay? What's weird in El Paso, there's a huge wall that split America and Mexico. Huge.
What?
Crazy.
Huh.
You can see Juarez from because El Paso's set up on a hill, so you kind of see down into Mexico. So if you're going I-10, if you ever get bored, start in Jacksonville, drive to Los Angeles. The 10 goes all the way out there. Okay. Now, Texas and New Mexico is the worst drive of all time, but there's one break in the action. It's El Paso, because you're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Then you look to the if you're coming from LA to Florida, you look to the right, and you're like, oh, what are these huge walls? What is this fencing? Oh, because Mexico's right over there. And then you can just see Mexico, and it is glorious. Juarez is a glorious town. Just kidding. Don't ever go there. And then there's El Paso that looks, really nice. But there's a wall there. There's not too many border crossings, not too many illegal border crossings that actually happen in El Paso. But where it actually is happening down in Laredo, which is at the tip of Texas, magically she didn't make it down there. That's weird. Strange. But here's the thing. Do you trust the numbers that they're even saying are coming across the border? The recent stat I saw.
I've
Go
never
ahead.
trusted their numbers. They've always there's like 4 million illegals, and then there's like actually
It's closer
it's
to
probably
11.
closer to 12, 20,
Yeah.
whatever. We
It depends on
Actually,
which
they
numbers
don't
you're
know.
looking at.
They don't know.
exactly.
The closest estimate that they have is the equivalent of the population of Charlotte, Tennessee, crosses our border every month. Since this administration's come into power, the equivalent of Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm mixing my states, Charlotte, North Carolina, Chattanooga, Tennessee. That size of population is crossing our border illegally into America.
Right.
Every month. What do?
Well, do like South Dakota did and send 1,000 of their troopers down to help patrol the border. Or do
You
what
should.
Florida did and send, 8,000 National Guard over to Texas to help patrol the border.
But you want to hear what's really stupid about that situation? You know who's not sending National Guard to the Texas border? Texas. Have you guys seen that? Abbott sent 500 guys. That's it. More people are being sent from Florida, from other states, to patrol the border of Texas than the Texas National Guard. So tell me.
But that doesn't. I don't know. I don't see a problem with that particularly, because we didn't send our National Guard either. We sent, officers. Like law enforcement officers.
And
Sure.
Guard.
But here's my thing. If we have established that there's a border crisis, there's a crisis at the border. Clearly, the federal government's not going to do anything about it because it's run by Democrats and globalists. They want to completely change America. They're not going to give you accurate numbers. But you take 2 seconds and there's a border crossing happening all the time there. If you're Governor Abbott and you're serious about stopping what's happening, aren't you going to send the National Guard? Is that not the pressing thing that your National Guard would be needed for? Wouldn't you think that?
Potentially. I don't know what the implications of the National Guard being sent is. I don't
Defend the
know
border.
what the rules are for doing that.
That's just,
True.
I think Matt just hit the key point there. Is there are certain rules that the National Guard have to follow that law enforcement don't, and vice versa. There are certain rules that dictate how you're supposed to take in these refugees, quote unquote, huge quote unquote there. And I'm not sure how the National Guard fits into that.
Yeah, I don't know what
The National Guard is for defending the state, right?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
If you're breaking into my home, I have the right to defend myself, correct?
Mm-hmm.
On most states,
If you're breaking into the state, would you not say that that's you're there to defend the border? Now, I'm not saying they should like Kent Statham and blow away a bunch of moms and kids trying to, getting thrown over the border by coyotes. But you can't claim to be serious about something if you're sending 500 troops. No offense.
But
Like
can you
you're
tell
not.
me what the? I don't know what the rules are, so I can't.
Sure. Even if there weren't the
I'm
rules,
with Matt
at
on
least
that.
if you got guys there saying, "Don't do it," go that way, right?
Here's the thing. Okay, I recently saw a news report where a reporter was with a bunch of border agents,
Okay.
and they came across a coyote bringing people across in a little boat, and just
Okay.
kept going back and forth. He wouldn't step onto the United States.
shore.
He just pushed him off the boat about 2 feet away from the border, then go back across, and go get more, then bring him back, push him off the boat.
Yeah.
So the reporter goes, "Well, why don't you go after him? He's a coyote." He goes, "Because if we go after him, what he's going to do is run away, grab some people, and start throwing them in the lake or into the river, and then we have a rescue situation rather than a detaining situation."
I got you. Yeah, and again, to your point, to Matt's point, I don't know what to do other than put a big old wall up.
Yeah,
Bigger wall.
Ports of entry, huh?
for sure.
Bigger wall.
I want to thank Deep State for 15 months of voluntarily paying his taxes.
Deep state.
And he wrote this message: "Is this a dating site? Because my phone is 4G, but my heart is for you."
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, deep state. That's so. Go. Jeez. God, stop.
I don't even know how to respond to that, Deep State. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how to respond to this. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I don't know, man. But even, but is that your dance?
Oh yeah.
I like the
That's what I
shimmy
do
shake,
while
man.
That's what I do while it's playing.
That's what they're doing too.
Yeah, I know. Except with the stupid arms to the side.
Yeah, no, the side. Yeah, it's
The
embarrassing.
worst video ever.
It's embarrassing. Do you guys watch Letterkenny?
Oh yeah.
The coach. It's embarrassing.
Freaking embarrassing.
Freaking embarrassing, man. Oh my goodness. But yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on,
You know
man.
the thing.
Anyways, I mean, I just don't trust anything right now. I mean, I hate to be that guy. I don't want to be Alex Jones, but I just don't trust any of this. You know, it's not that I don't trust our border patrol people, ICE or whatever, but the reality of the situation is they've been neutered. We knew that. We talked about that on the show. You know, what do you trust anymore? Our inflation is, and the other thing we're not talking about is our inflation is blowing up right now, which is insane. We have more jobs available in America.
There's a housing bubble growing.
It's just not growing, just exploding.
Well, it doesn't explode. When it explodes,
Well,
we'll know. But it's growing.
Rapidly growing to the point that it might as well be exploding in the balloon.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's a big problem. Crime is going up.
Only 500% in Seattle.
Yeah.
Only
Only
500%.
500%.
I was thinking about this today. All this defund the police and like all these federal government, senators, obviously leftists, promoting it, happy about it, right? Meanwhile, crime is going up and nobody's doing anything about it.
Sure.
It's only 124% in Chicago.
But it doesn't affect them.
Well, I
think it doesn't affect them.
No, I think it's more than that. I don't think it's a casual disinterest or anything like that. You remember we talked about this, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. The EPA stockpiling
ammo
and weapons, military grade weapons. Why?
To the tune of billions of bullets.
And we couldn't figure it out. Like
millions.
Does the EPA have a police? Have a military force? No, they don't.
They have a force of about 800 people.
Well, what if, or maybe not. Maybe they won't. What I'm considering is we defund the police. Crime grows to a point where it can't be ignored. And then all of a sudden, a new federal police introduced. And hey, we just happen to have all these weapons that we stockpiled in these other alphabet agencies, using them as, using their budgets as cover. And, you found out about a couple, and we were just like, well, don't worry about that. And everyone was like, oh, okay. And, but here they are, and they're fully stocked, they're well prepared, and they own you. And your local governments have no say in how they operate. Hooray!
I think Alex Jones talked about this like 10 years ago.
I think that sounds kind of reminiscent of a military police that took over another country just like 80 years ago.
Huh.
What was that?
Huh.
I think it was in Germany.
No.
Couldn't be.
Yeah.
Couldn't be the same as that.
They were about white supremacy. I mean, stop. Come on, man. Race. But it kind of was about race.
So would they call it the FBI?
To be fair.
It would probably be some Department of Homeland Security.
Sure.
And
they would never spy on citizens, man. Ever, right?
No. Oh, no.
They would never encroach on any American citizens. Anything. They wouldn't just show up and, not be beholden to
you have your right to privacy,
policies.
and you don't need to share any of your information with the government.
I mean, ignore that little Patriot Act thing, but other than that, I mean, come on. I mean, we can do whatever we want to.
Don't worry about the facility that has so much room for data that it could store the entire internet.
Tucker Carlson was faking
millions
it.
of times over.
Tucker Carlson was faking it. You saw how the NSA responded to him.
Sure.
Complete dismissal of him. Complete denial. Without actually ever denying anything.
Ooh, is this the same federal government that said Benghazi was from a YouTube video? Same one?
No, that was the Clinton's. Excuse me.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Hey, wasn't the same government that said that Snowden was full of it, even though he released all the information, indicting all of them for doing this?
And come out to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, isn't this the federal government that said that Donald Trump was colluding with Russians?
Yeah. Indicted him for it
He
too.
also had hookers peeing on him.
Yeah, hookers peeing on him. Yeah, remember that in the dossier, Steele dossier. Ooh, isn't this the same government that said that there was a quid pro quo between Trump and Iraq that was like insidious and evil?
Simultaneously, there was an actual quid pro quo between Biden and Ukraine.
Oh, shh, don't say Biden. We don't talk about him right now, okay? He's taking a nap. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
And his son making millions and millions of dollars from Russian spies.
He has nothing to do with China. Shh, don't say anything.
China.
Hunter is an angel that says the N-word, okay? He's cool. He's the cool white guy. He can say the N-word whenever he wants to, and nothing will be said, ever.
If you're addicted to cocaine, you can pretty much
hookers and
you have free license to do anything.
Listen, if you're the son of the I can never say it with a straight face, President of the United States, sometimes you got to get foot jobs from 13-year-old kids and it be on a laptop. But we don't want to talk about that, okay? Don't want to talk about that at all.
No.
Because the NSA is watching, and they're not watching. But they're watching, but they're not watching at the same time.
Yeah. You got two of them on that one.
Huh?
You got Greta and the No-No Square.
Whoa, I got two of them?
Yeah, you nailed it.
In one sentence.
Listen. I hate to be truthful, but that is my role on this show, okay? Is to bring the raw reality. You feel me? That's what I'm supposed to do.
Alex Jones.
Okay? I am the dark Alex Jones, man. Watch out. The only thing that bothers me with Alex Jones right now is he's going on all these shows and he's getting completely like high and drunk and just dropping all these news nuggets on people, and no one's gonna take him serious because he probably is a plant. He probably is Bill. What's the comedian that died? Bill Hicks. I watched that Bill Hicks special on Netflix. First of all, phenomenal, hilarious, definitely applicable to today. Mm-hmm. It's hard to distinguish the two. The only thing that bothers me is it appears that Bill Hicks is taller than Alex Jones actually is. That's the only thing that gets me with those two. Bill Hicks appears to be a very tall guy. Jones does not seem like a very tall human being. You know what I mean? He probably has a little bit of little man syndrome. That's probably why he was so crazy. But that's probably part of his brilliance.
What's your excuse?
Huh?
What's your excuse?
I'm black in America. I'm oppressed. I need to be angry all the time. I'm black in America. Jeez. I have a decent job and sexy hot wife, a decent house. I am oppressed. It's ridiculous. Can you believe it? I had to clean my pool filter the other day, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh no!
I shouldn't have to do that. That pool should stay blue. That's racist. That pool is racist towards me, man. Huh?
Help! I'm being oppressed. Look at the violence
I'm
inherent
oppressed,
in the system.
man. Like literally, I'm so oppressed right now, bro. It's ridiculous. I had to like mow my own grass the other day. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's just oppression. You white people just walk out and your grass is cut, right? Yeah. Ridiculous, man.
Well, yeah, because don't you press the grass cutting feature?
Yeah. No, I don't have it. I don't have the black. I don't have the white card.
It's. Oh, I'm sorry. It's in the white app card. Sorry.
That's why I'm angry. I'm black in America, man. It's too tough out here, bro. I had to do it. I had to pull that card. I'm sorry.
Have you seen what they're talking about lately with Well, basically, it all stems from Joy Reid on whatever network she's on that nobody
MSNBC.
watches. Is she still on MSNBC?
Yep.
Yep. Anyway, she's a lunatic and a liar. But so she had first of all, she had a clip of Josh Hawley, who's a senator, who's quoting Ibram X. Kendi from his book.
Yep.
Talking about how we need the only answer to racist discrimination is anti-racist discrimination. You know, we need to discriminate against the race and power, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's equity. You know, and he's of course saying, this is ridiculous. This is racism.
Yep.
And she's like, I don't. He's got to be misquoting that book, which he wasn't. He was
reading it word for word.
He was quoting it directly. Then she goes on to say that she brings somebody on to discuss it, and the guy calls Ibram X. Kendi a critical race theorist, and she's like, he's not a critical race theorist.
I saw this. I saw that.
And neither is Robin DiAngelo.
Oh my gosh!
And I think her book is called White Rage. It's actually White Fragility.
Her book's called White Fragility, and she absolutely is a critical race theorist.
Yes.
And
the thing about it is, okay, you can get semantic, you can get really semantical about it, right? Mm-hmm. Is their branch of study as PhDs? Like she interviews Kendi, and he's like, well, I didn't go to law school, so I wouldn't identify as a critical race theorist. And it's like, it doesn't matter. You're making much of nothing. You spout critical race theory.
Yeah.
All of your books are about critical race theory.
You're a critical race theorist.
Whether or not you're the guy who sits in the halls of academia and comes up with this crap, it influences everything that you do, and you're peddling it to the world.
Yeah, which is hilarious. In the book Fault Lines that I am shamelessly plugging from my man Vodi Bakum, must read. You got to read this. It will break it down. That critical race theory is based off of a quote-unquote study from 1989. And do you know what the scientific assessment of this paper that has now been used in the halls of Harvard and all over academia now?
No.
You know what study was run to assess white privilege and whiteness?
My first guess would probably be none. There was no study.
There was none at all. It was an opinion piece from a African American professor done in 1989, and has been now taken as scientific proof, or a science or a sociology that is now being used in 2021 in every single aspect of our lives.
All of this is theory. Okay, so did you guys ever take a literature class?
Yes.
And they had you dissect whatever you read based on various lens of so-called critical thinking, feminist theory, et cetera, all kinds of different ways to look through.
Part.
What's that?
I kind of failed that part.
Well, I mean, I was able to, put on their lenses and spout their nonsense. They weren't asking us to tell us whether they were true.
I just had a hard time getting into that mind.
It's the same thing they're doing now with Luca. You guys seen the Luca movie from Pixar?
I've seen the commercials, yes.
First of all, phenomenal movie. Absolutely amazing. Your kids need to see it. It's really good. Okay? Really good movie.
It's cute.
And it's a wholesome coming-of-age story about two kids that live in Italy. And they want to go on an adventure. They go into this new town. Come to find out, they're sea monsters. When they come in the land, they turn into humans, and nobody knows. Shenanigans ensues, and then the entire village comes to accept the boys for being sea monsters, and come to find out half the village is sea monsters, and nobody talks about it. I hate to ruin the Pixar movie for it, but it's literally the same story. It's like Little Mermaid with boys, basically, and no weird romance and creepy whatever. Wholesome movie. Really good ideas in it. Really good stuff. I watched it with my girls. Very proud of it. But the lens of literature was used by the Twitter world to say it's the first gay Pixar movie. Even though Pixar literally said there's nothing gay in this movie at all. Two boys that are friends.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But this is what you're talking about with the literature, the lens.
Ultimately, the author is dead. That's the postmodernist. See, with the introduction of postmodernism, you get the author is dead, and then you get all the critical theories.
Yep.
Which then try to deconstruct whatever it is you're looking at and focus it through whatever lens you want to focus it through. So how can we find the feminism in this story? How can we find... And so critical race theory is just the newest version. How can we find the inherent racism in this story?
But it ruins everything that it passes through.
Well, postmodernism is garbage. And the beauty of critical race theory is that it's not just postmodernism. It's postmodernism and Marxism in this unholy marriage. So where the whole war of the classes never came to fruition.
Yep.
The proletariat never overthrew the bourgeoisie. Maybe in small little battles that never really achieved much, but tell that to the Chinese and the Russians and but it didn't end well for them.
No.
But it never took the workers of the world entirely never united, right?
No.
So
it's never happened.
Holdouts like evil.
Are there workers in the world right now?
Capitalism, held strong and ended up winning the Cold War.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And so that didn't work. But you know what would work in America?
What?
Race. America's had a problem with race. It's true. We admit it.
We did.
We had a big problem.
We did.
Just as things seem to like this race problem might be done. It might be over with.
I'd say 1980s, 1990s. I'd say it was pretty
or
well
maybe
done.
the election of a black president.
Well, I would literally say that. I mean, the Bush years, dude, pretty united. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You got to think about the Dream Team from like '92 on. I mean, I remember in '92.
H.W. Bush.
Was that H.W. Bush?
Yeah, that wasn't.
No. I'm saying from Bush to Bush. Globalist to globalist.
There was the riots in L.A. and stuff like that.
Sure.
But definitely, the thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Late
The aughts.
90s. We'd pretty much gotten to a pretty good place.
Yep.
And ultimately, it concluded with the election of a black president. That
Twice.
Whether or not you agreed with his policies,
Which I did not.
which I vehemently did not.
Nope.
I at least once the election was over, said, well, I don't agree with anything that he's going to do, but we elected a black president.
No.
Yep.
That's a good thing, I thought.
And our whole country was happy about it.
Yep.
Think about
But
that.
then you find out.
We got to that
But
point.
then you find out, if you disagree with his policies, it's because you're a racist.
Heaven forbid it couldn't be because
Turns
there were
out-
bad policies.
It turns out, if you're white, you're just a racist. Because enter critical race theory.
But here's the thing.
But that's not critical race theory.
As people keep
Yeah.
yelling,
And
you're
the
a
people
racist."
spouting this aren't critical race theorists.
No, I mean, they're not
They're just-
critical race
they're-
theorists.
Everything that they're writing about comes from critical race theory. But they're not critical race theorists.
But
So you're a fool because I'm Joy Reid and I said so.
But here's what's funny to me, Dusty, and I don't mean to step on your toes, but have you noticed how quickly the media is running from critical race theory right now? They're running from it. They're running from
they
it.
are running from that word.
Yeah.
Because they're always trying to control the narrative.
Yes.
So they're going to run from the word. This isn't critical race theory. You're crazy. They're going to gaslight everybody. Right?
Sure.
You're crazy. This isn't critical race theory. All right? They're not critical race theorists. Too many people know about critical race theory.
Exactly.
We have to take a step back, and then we're going to rebrand it.
Yes.
All right? We'll call it something else that only we know about, but it'll be the same schlock dividing and destroying America.
It'll be red blue state. That's what it's going to be in 2 years.
It's
It
just
won't
like
be critical race theory. But go ahead.
It's just like people have said, "You're a racist. You're a racist. You say that so often, the power of that word gets diminished
away
every single time, and it's at the point where that word is absolutely useless. It means
Doesn't mean anything.
nothing.
No.
It used to actually mean something, where I would be deeply offended if I was called a racist. Back in the early 2000s, 1990s, I'd
Sure.
be terrified. I'd be like, wait, what? No. I get called that 4 or 5 times a day,
Mm-hmm.
and it has nothing to do with anything other than my viewpoints politically.
Mm-hmm.
You disagree with somebody.
I disagree with somebody, and they can't articulate a good argument, so they just start name calling, and you're racist.
Hey, when in doubt, I'm racist, or you're racist.
You're
No,
racist.
I mean, it's true. It's true. and this thing that we have to do with this situation, because this is a misinformation 101, right? Now that we've identified the enemy and we know what it is, and to the point where, how many videos have you seen of the backlash of critical race theory?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's
It is
moms in local, town hall meetings.
it was the number one point of
Blasphemous
contention at the
stuff.
Southern Baptist Convention over the week.
It should,
Number
it should
one
have been.
thing. Huh?
It does not belong in the church.
No,
Not at all.
Absolutely
Not at all. But what's sad is the political power of this SBC rejects it, but then allows it to be taught in their seminaries. Right?
Yeah.
And then they pass it off as what was funny was I don't know if you guys heard any of the highlights of the Southern Baptist Convention, which is the largest denomination of Protestant churches in America. The reason why it matters, thank God, I go to a Baptist church. Matt goes to a Baptist church right now. We're not affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention because they don't actually follow the Bible anymore, but that's neither here nor there. That's another case study for itself. But there's a reason why we're independent and we don't mess with those guys anymore. Now, with that being said, the reason why the SBC is important, especially to followers of Christ, a third of the pastors that are taught in America come out of Southern Baptist, or actually it's 2/3 of pastors come out of Southern Baptist Convention seminaries. Okay. The major seminaries in America are the ones teaching your pastors, and what's being taught in your church, in your seminaries, that ultimately are going to bleed into your churches. And that's why when the pandemic happened and magically they threw race into the cog of the machine, all of a sudden your pastors who went from being super biblical to magically woke wasn't a great leap, because for 30 years these seminaries have allowed this to be taught in their seminaries and trying to justify it and distort the word to make it fit the narrative. Go ahead.
Who runs the
SPCA?
No, the
Southern Baptist
what's the big
Convention.
seminary?
Say it again.
What's the big seminary?
Southeastern Baptist.
Something like that, yeah.
Southeastern, and then you got the one in New Orleans, and there's 6 big ones. But Dallas Theological Seminary is part of them as well. Like, there's big time seminaries.
It's not the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
He has a show called the like The Report or something like that.
Okay.
Dang it. His name's Bill,
Okay.
I think. But you don't know who I'm talking about, and I can't
No.
remember his name. Anyway, he's the head of this seminary, and he defends it at every turn.
Yeah. Yeah, they all
while
do.
decrying it on his podcast show. While picking apart the news and supposedly standing against it, yet defending professors who teach it openly.
Yep.
And firing those the professors who are critical of it.
Yes, that are critical of critical race theory. Think about that.
And critical of the other professors who are teaching this.
Because here's the thing, follower of Christ, critical race theory is not compatible with following Christ. It's not compatible with the gospel.
Well, yeah, because there is
its
no
own
truth.
religion. Go ahead.
In critical race theory, there's no truth because it's postmodern. There's no absolute truth.
And there's no redemption.
The only truth is power.
And the only original sin is
garbage
whiteness.
like people saying that Jesus was taught a lesson by the woman at the well.
Yes.
That he had to learn about his own
privilege.
His own privilege and stuff like that.
That she spoke truth to Jesus Christ.
Yes, she spoke truth to power.
Who is I'm sorry, he was the Son of God.
Well, that's
so blasphemous.
But those same pastors are now saying that Jesus helped Lazarus come out of the closet.
No, he called him out of the cave where he was dead.
No, but now that's calling it.
Dead, but that was a
euphemism.
Yeah, a politically correct term for the time period to say that he was gay.
You should probably tell his wife that.
Probably, or his sisters that were mourning him. But it is what it is. But my thing is this: this is why it's important, because now that we've identified critical race theory, the Southern Baptist Convention, some of the highlights of the convention, one, they denounced anything that was contrary to the gospel. That's a good thing, but wouldn't specifically name critical race theory because, quote, the world is watching. Now think about this: a Christian institution, a Christian institution fears the world's opinion of their rendering of critical race theory more than God. Think about that for 1 second.
I believe we were called to speak the truth, and the light.
Yeah, but see, Dusty, what you don't understand is if we come out against critical race theory, we'll be seen as racist, and that will mess up our witness.
Again, it goes back to what I was saying before. That word means absolutely nothing.
Now,
zilch.
Here's the thing.
The Southern Baptist Convention has a history of siding with the wrong side.
True. Now, with that being said,
shut him down.
The defense of the world is watching was this: I wish Christians were more concerned about the gospel than they were about critical race theory. If we focused so much of our energy on the gospel and not on critical race theory, the entire world would be saved by now.
Who's that?
And that came to thunderous applause.
Who said that?
Okay. I forget what the guy's name was, but he's one of the upper-ups in the SBC.
I was thinking, it sounded David Plattish to me.
Oh, super David Plattish, but notice David Platt's not in the SBC anymore.
Oh, is
All
he?
these guys that destroyed the SBC aren't in the SBC anymore.
Well, they moved on to the next organization to destroy.
Exactly. Now, the pastor said the name's escaping me right now. Now, this gets cheered to a thunderous applause. Now, one of the detractors in the crowd, but then he said it on a podcast as well. Founders Ministry, which is a very they're solid. Okay, they're solid. Literally says, man, I just wish Paul was more concerned about the gospel than the Judaizing that was happening in the early church. Because if Paul would have just focused on the gospel, the whole world would have been saved. I wish the reformers would have just focused on the gospel instead of the heresy of the Catholic Church. Because if they would have focused on that, the entire world would have been saved. I mean, Martin Luther just had the wrong idea. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was the funniest thing to me, because you got to think about this. This guy literally thought he said something. He thought he said something intelligent, because the very nature of CRT is insidious and is opposed to the gospel. If you're in a seminary,
if you focus on the gospel, you have to eliminate CRT.
Exactly. If you focus on the gospel, you have to get rid of prosperity gospel. if you focus on the gospel, you can't Judaize it later on. If you focus on the gospel, you can't hold on to CRT, which is inherently an atheist idea. First of all, it's a God-hating idea, and it's a humanist and an evil idea. Period. You have to get rid of all. You have to purge it all. But that's the thing is, it's come to the point where even the slow Southern Baptist Convention is pulling what's her name? Joy Reid, is that her name?
Yeah.
We're against it, but we're not going to name it because the world's watching. Think about that. Oh, these clear critical race theorists that wrote White Fragility are not critical race theorists now. Think about this.
Jeez.
But again, this is MSNBC. They're the ones that Rachel Maddow lived on Russian collusion for 2.5 years. Think about this.
So did CNN, though.
Oh yeah.
CNN's not really any different. They've just pretended to be. MSNBC has never pretended to be middle.
No,
No.
it's about as
CNN
left
has
as it is.
CNN had more clout because they pretended to be unbiased.
Even though it was very left leaning. That's like NPR.
Well,
Yeah.
That
NPR,
clout's not helping
we're
them.
in
They're down
the middle.
70%
No, you're not.
viewership. 70%, by the way. But
Yeah.
here's my final thought, man, and I want to start bringing this home. But I do want to say this, boys. The misinformation station is this: like, you got to pay attention to what's happening around you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The joy to me that warms my skeptical heart is that most of America is starting to wake up to most of this. Okay. You got stuff happening in Arizona. They finally did the ballot count. I'm going to be very interested to see what the deep state allows them to present, because I think that they know what happened. I think right now it's damage control. They're trying to figure out how they spin this. How do you spin?
How long ago did they finish? It's not. It wasn't yesterday that they finished.
No. They
it's been at
finished
least
on
a week.
Monday.
Friday, wasn't it? Was it Monday or was it Friday?
They officially finished on Monday. They wrapped up on Friday, but they had the tallies and everything done on Monday. Okay. The only thing that's leaked right now is that Maricopa County will not be using any voting machines like that ever again. Okay. So immediately,
why.
I don't know if this is
It must. That's
Go ahead.
That's going to be the beauty of this. The numbers are going to be like, no, it's totally fine. But Maricopa County is never going to use it again. Why? If the numbers were totally fine.
But exactly. So here's what's happening right now, in my opinion. Okay, this is my kind of part of my final thought. Is they've already announced that they won't be using these machines again. Okay. If that's the case, either one of two scenarios. They're either going to let the cat in the bag that Maricopa County completely biffed, which is the biggest. I think it's Phoenix, right? Is that what it is? It's the biggest city in Arizona. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Basically, one of the five cities
Where
that
Maricopa County goes, the state goes.
Yes, one of the cities of the 5 cities that determined our federal election this year. Okay, if you find out that the biggest population, the one that turns the entire state, actually went for Donald Trump, you just opened up Pandora's box to Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin that have essentially determined that determined the quote unquote president, the person that's occupying the White House, to steal from the liberals. Okay. Now, one of two things are going to happen. They're either going to actually tell the truth, because one, it destroys and erodes the faith of our election systems. Okay. Which is great for globalists. They want that. Okay. They want to have a lack of faith because, to what you were pointing out earlier, Matt, they want more federal control of all this stuff. Okay. What the globalists will say is like, these
And
city
there'll
states
probably
just
be a
can't handle
mad
it.
scramble to correct it, and in a mad scramble, the well-prepared can seize control.
Yes. Now, that's scenario one. Scenario two is what you said, Matt. They're going to say, yeah, we're never going to use these machines again, but everything was fine. So I'm prepared for either one of these scenarios, but it's going to be, from what I've seen and from people who've made predictions that have gotten it right, some crap's about to go down. What I think is happening right now, because everything was done on Monday and now we're Wednesday, it's going to drop probably Friday night. Okay. Because
for sure.
That's when nobody pays attention to the news,
Mm-hmm.
but they've already have the spin control story ready to kind of control what's going to happen. Right. It's the same thing like, Rona, right? Like, nobody cares about Rona anymore. Rona's effectively dead in the United States. Fauci, they use their scapegoat, but to keep the fear going, they started the Delta variant bullcrap. Does that make sense? They have to have the spin control because it's all about control. So they're figuring out what the most optimal way to control the sheep is in either presenting the truth or half the truth of what's going on, okay? So that being said, right, we have to be very vigilant in assessing the information that comes our way. So, for example, if I open my mouth, if Matt opens his mouth, if Dusty, which I can't wait to talk about here in a little bit, says something, you cannot take it as the gospel. And I'm saying this as a man who
face value.
Go ahead. Huh?
Don't take it as face value. Check
exactly.
it.
Do not.
We've always said that.
Yes. Biblical truth telling, there's a reason why you need 2 witnesses for anything. Okay? That's a biblical principle. I hate to say this to you legal guys. You stole it from the Bible just like you've stolen all morality. Okay? Your laws are based off of the Bible. Okay? The Bible's clear about this. You gotta have 2 witnesses because I think in Proverbs it talks about that, or no, in Deuteronomy, that it may appear the person that talks to you first is telling you the truth. Until you get both sides of the story, until you get the entire story. You need to know the totality of the story before you can assess it. Does this make sense? When we were making predictions early on about the Rona hysteria, we were taking literally the CDC numbers and telling you what was happening. And wouldn't you think we were right again? Does this make sense? Now, the only thing that we've gotten wrong on the show, I predicted California going red. Now, that still could happen. Who knows? Jury's out there. You know what I mean? Who knows? We'll see. Because California's about to recall Gavin Newsom, which is unbelievable. He's about to face recall. Total recall. Okay?
Deep State had a comment earlier about that.
What'd he say?
Not the recall, but he said, I don't see buildings collapsing in California, so Gavin Newsom 1, Ron DeSantis 0.
True. Now,
Wait
think
a
about
second.
this.
I thought they were always falling over from floods, droughts, earthquakes, and mudslides.
Yeah,
Look
but
at the raging fires.
Oh, the raging fires.
Yeah, raging fires, California. We don't talk about that, but we don't talk about that. But think about it. Any information that comes out of any of our mouths, don't trust it. Verify it. Same thing with Tucker, right? Tucker makes a bold claim this week. NSA spying on me. Okay, we can look at the history of the NSA, the Patriot Act, and assess that he's probably telling the truth, right? And even he, I think
he's probably telling the truth about everybody in America.
100%, right? But you have to still filter what people are saying. You still have to go through truth. You have to see multiple sources. You have to see what's actually happening, right? And here's the thing. This is going to blow some people's minds. It's okay to trust your eyes, okay? It is. We've been duped into this society to never trust our eyes. Do not trust your lying eyes. Like, that's one of the biggest jokes that's out there is people have been trained not to trust what they see. Multiple different ways. Okay?
Magicians.
Huh?
Magicians.
100%, right? We have been taught don't trust those lying eyes. When you see people pulling up ballots from under tables after they push out everybody and start counting them, we've been told that you didn't see anything there, right? We've been told that in the middle of the night when we saw Trump dominating in this election, that don't trust your lying eyes. Just magically in the middle of the night, Biden just pulled way ahead, right?
So how many vice presidents or how many former presidents do you know that hold a rally and 3 million people show up?
In Ohio. Like think about this. We're told that 80 million people, okay? We're told, listen, Trump has a huge rally in Ohio.
People came into the city to go to the rally.
Huge rally in Ohio, okay? Not covered by the mainstream, but he has a massive, massive rally again. Me and Big Matt
in Alabama on July 4th.
What now?
He's supposed to have one on the 4th of July in Alabama, but it got canceled because it might be politically divisive.
Oh, gosh. Just find a new location because people will show up. Now, that being said,
Florida.
Hey, we'll take you here in Florida. Now, I mean, it's his hometown, though. It'd be kind of unfair. I mean, he's a Floridian now. But think about this. Me and Matt sat in a sea of humanity, 55,000 people packed in Little Sanford Airport. Okay? Tons of momentum for the incumbent president, who, let's get real, won the election. You saw rallies all over from sea to shining sea, packed out. You saw in Arizona tons of people coming out to his rallies.
In Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia, like
New
everywhere.
York.
But somehow,
New York had parades
yes,
for him.
But we are told that somehow the guy who can't attract a fly, who can't literally cannot attract anyone to watch him,
Well, he
won
did
the
have
election.
Big rallies where 15 people sat in little quarantine circles by themselves.
Yeah.
And
Don't forget the Jeep rally.
The energy was palpable.
Hey, but don't believe your lying eyes, right?
Yeah.
We were told that everyone was dying from
That was
corona
just
until we
Biden-
looked around.
That was Biden being safety conscious.
Oh, yeah. But hey, remember, they told us we're in a pandemic. Everybody's dying. And then we started looking around and nobody was dying.
Same amount
They
of people
told us
that
that
year
Florida. Go ahead.
previous died.
What?
Yeah.
Same amount of people the year previous died.
Listen, and I can say this because, listen, I've got family in Ohio. They believe everything that's on the TV screen, okay? They do, sadly, okay? They told me, like, the TV stations are telling us that everybody's dying in Florida. And I hate to pick on my mom, but she'll never listen to this podcast. It doesn't really matter, okay? She comes down to Florida, and she starts looking around, and nobody's wearing masks. And nobody's dying. And it's, like, normal. And she's like, wow, this isn't what they told us on TV. And I literally looked at my mom, and I was like, well, gee, Mom, that's because the news lies. It's fake. It's not real. And
Well,
there are
here's the
so
thing.
many
Here's
people.
Here's the problem with this interaction you're having.
Go ahead.
She literally wiped your butt for
It's true. She
a
did.
year plus.
She did.
All right?
She did.
She wiped your butt for a year
She did.
plus. She ain't never going to listen to a word you say.
That's true. It's like it's the parent rule,
Yeah,
and it's the
par-
naked rule.
parents don't
You know what the
listen to
naked
their
rule is,
children.
right?
You know,
Y'all know what
like,
the naked
I'm not
rule is?
saying that the youth have it. The youth are always on the button and they're doing it right. You know, there was a Hitler youth movement.
True.
I don't know if you knew that.
It's true.
But the youth don't have it right. 9 times out of 10 they don't. But
Mostly because they're youth.
exactly. But there is a 10th time that sometimes they get it right. Sometimes, especially once they're adults. You know, maybe it's time we can have some conversations and learn from each other.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But here's what I'm getting at.
But I'll probably
Listen.
be a idiot old person who doesn't listen to my adult children. So
Get off my
Yeah.
grass!
what do you know? I
But
remember
for
you saying some pretty stupid things when you were 6.
sure, hey, listen. At some point, and we're all going to be guilty of that in some form or
Exactly.
fashion. It's going to happen, right? But what I'm getting at is this: stop trusting what you've been presented. That sounds crazy. It sounds Alex Jonesy. Blah 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 blah. Stop trusting what you're being presented. That even means Fox News.
If you're seeing something and it's like, if what you're seeing doesn't seem to perfectly correlate with what you're being told, something's wrong there.
It's crazy. And it's okay to
The most
call that
boring
out.
rallies do not produce the most popular president.
No.
I don't think
No.
it ever has.
No.
It's always about who's got the energy.
Yeah,
Yep.
who's got the people showing up to the rallies usually means
Every time.
who's going to win.
It's not even usually.
It's every time.
Like, where's the exception that proves the rule? You know, it doesn't exist.
There was no energy for Mitt Romney. There was no energy for McCain.
Kane,
There was no energy for Gore. Sorry.
no.
Gore's milquetoast. There was no energy for Dukakis. There was no energy for
McGovern.
yeah. There wasn't even
Who's
energy
your
for
guy?
book. Huh?
Who's your guy? Ross Perot.
Ross Perot.
Man, good ideas, just no clout, no energy.
He would have been awesome in the 2020s.
There was
would've
energy
been-
for Ron Paul.
Sure.
Then there wasn't the numbers.
Newt
No.
Gingrich.
So numbers and energy mean something. But then you look at Trump rallies and you're like, he's got numbers, and he's definitely got energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yet,
But he lost to 80 million.
80 million votes, more than Obama ever got. At
And
the height of his popularity. Obama,
Sure, Jan.
the Messiah,
You guys ever seen that meme?
savior of unity
Yeah.
in America.
Trump only got what, 76 million?
Yeah.
Sure,
It was
Jan.
also more than...
Than any other president previously.
Yeah.
More people voted in that election than in all of
You forgot more
history.
You forgot a word. More dead people voted in that election.
Sure.
No, I said
Very
more
true.
people.
Yeah, you missed dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're zombies?
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Zombies voted in
necromancy.
that
I wouldn't
election?
put necromancy past Democrats. So I mean, just saying. But yeah, that's my final thought, man. Don't quit trusting what you're being presented. It's BS. You know, just stop. The only truth you're going to find is in the Word of God. The only truth you're going to find is from Christ, the Holy Spirit, and Yahweh. That's it. That's all you're going to find. That's it. That's it. Like literally, Paul told
the gospel
listen. Paul
conflicts
told
with
us to be like the
CRT, bro.
Bereans, right? We're supposed to be Bereans, especially as followers of Christ. We're to be Bereans, meaning literally don't trust anything that's being presented in the pulpit. Search it through the scriptures to make sure it's verified. That's what we're supposed to do. But somehow we have crucified any critical thought for critical race theory and all this madness, which is absurd to me. But, you know, that's my final thought, bro. What do you guys got today?
What's funny about... You know what's interesting about critical race theory and all these critical theories is that they don't encourage critical thinking.
No.
No.
Why would you do
Why
that?
would you want to critical think anything? Then you might disprove the theory.
Exactly. We just need you believing the theory. I don't really have a final thought. I think we covered quite a bit.
We did, man.
Yeah. Just watch out for my prediction of a federal police force. Yeah.
That's. I think that's
the
definitely
FBP,
coming.
the Federal Bureau of Policing, or something like that.
The
Yeah.
other one that I think is going to be very near is some sort of digital, U.S. digital currency.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's going to be in the near 5 years.
Yeah. It's all coming to fruition, brothers. The revelation wasn't lying. New World Order's coming. Mark of the Beast is coming. One world currency's coming, kids. So get ready for it, man. All right.
On Coinbase, which is an exchange for cryptocurrencies, I saw it listed something as USD coin.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't done any research on it, what that means. It may be just the way that they're talking about US dollars, you know.
As coins?
Well, yeah, as like just to
Compare.
make it similar across the board to what what you're exchanging US dollars for. But I don't know that for sure. I don't know anything. It's just I just thought I was like USD coin. What? Already? Or am I just missing something? So
Again, check.
yeah. Yeah, they definitely want to do away with fiat and
Yeah. Because they can't control it. Once it leaves their printing presses, they can't control it. So
yeah. Well, they do control a lot, but they don't control enough. And so, blockchain is in one hand, it's very dangerous for them. You know, Bitcoin is the enemy
yeah.
because they can't control it. But blockchain's also a very useful tool if they want to control, for added control. So, invest in Bitcoin. I am not a financial advisor.
I am not a financial advisor, however.
And buy it while it's low.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I'm
So,
not a
well, it's high.
medical professional. Yeah,
Don't. No, just hodl. Don't sell.
sure that.
Okay.
Boys, we ready to talk about this or what, man?
Sure, I guess. No.
We don't
Listen,
like the
Root
change.
Nation, I want to say this. The Empire, I want to say that this Empire has been going for 3 years now and has been run by two kings, the Ivory Tower and the Ebony Rampart. But like all good empires, sometimes the other king has to go other ventures and create new nations and new empires to
There's a
continue
potato
to grow.
famine in Idaho, bro.
Huh? There's a potato famine in Idaho,
Why
man.
don't you go check it out?
But in all seriousness, life has been getting a little bit crazy for the strong one, so I will be not saying farewell. I'm not even saying goodbye. I'm just going to be saying a see you later to the Plausible Foolishness program for a little bit. I will be taking more of a guest role in the show in the near future, in perpetuity, until things might change. But I want to say a couple things. One, I love this show. I love it. I love the guys that work on the show. I love what we've done. Bro, we have kicked butt, take names, and I've enjoyed the process from one little dinky mic in my super echoey office, second floor room, to now it has been an adventure to green screens and freaking microphones and lighting
Soundboards
and
and
soundboards
computers.
and that dastardly producer Dusty. And I mean, the growth has been insane with this show. The guests that we've had have been amazing. And what I want to say is this show, you guys have made the show amazing. You know, I love it. I love every part of it. This was just a pipe dream and a little kitchen table and, you know, in your apartment a long time ago. And look at us. We're like homeowners now and all this crazy stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. You know, how much we've grown in the last 3 years. But I will be taking not a leave of absence, but more of a guest role. So, you know, with the show,
For
I'm
the time being.
For the time being.
You never know what the future is going to hold.
For the time being, but I'm going to be as much of a follower of Christ as possible and make my yes and my no. But for the time being, that is the situation I'm currently in, and I will be passing the chair. Whew. Passing the chair.
Chair's looking a little empty next to Matt.
It is, and I think it's time for it to be filled. I think it's time for you to step up into your destiny, Dusty, and take the. You got to sit in the chair, bro. You got to show the sexiness to the people,
y'all
man.
ready to see who I am?
Drum roll, please, man. So I'm
If I would have
pleased.
known that, I would have dressed up.
Listen, dude, don't even worry about it. But I'm pleased to announce that Dusty, the sexy Dusty, will be taking over the mantle. Oh my goodness, he does look like Obi-Wan Kenobi. But boys, the show is in very capable hands and energetic hands, and you guys are studly. You're super intelligent, very smart guys, super entertaining, and I think you guys are going to kick some serious ass on the show. And yes, I said ass on the show because that's how intense it is on this level, man. But
Balaam's donkey.
huh?
Balaam's
donkey. Hey, man, it says ass in the Bible. It says piss. It says piss in the Bible too. 2 Kings. He pisseth on the wall. But anyways, I love you guys, and I'm excited. You know, this obviously we hang out with each other too much to not see each other because Matt, I see you at church all the time, and Dusty, I think you're kind of cool, so I like hanging out with you too. So, but as far as the show on a consistent basis,
Come on. We gotta get our nerd on. Who are you gonna talk to about nerd stuff?
nerds. But I'm not going away, but I'm just going to take a little bit more of a back seat and let you help rule the kingdom with the Ivory Tower, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this show and where it's going to go. Man, what episode was this? 160 what? 160 what?
167.
167 shows. Bro, it's like SportsCenter, man. SportsCenter started off with a few guys, and it kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. And I think that this show is going to do the same exact thing. And it's not goodbye. It's not even farewell. It's see you later, for me. And I love you guys, man. I love it, man. I think, Dusty, you've been a phenomenal add to this show. I've heard it from numerous people how much they love you. And, it was funny even last week live. People were like, I love that voice. I love that guy's voice. He's awesome, so it's been amazing. Matt, I love you. Dude, I appreciate your consistency and your heart for this show because it's real. I mean, it really is. I appreciate every bit of it. I think that all three of us are go ahead.
I really want to do it full time. So
hey, I feel you, man. And I love the passion for this show. I love the passion for truth. And I love that we've been dismantling liberal logic one step at a time. And I appreciate every single second of it. So it ain't goodbye and it ain't farewell. It's just see you guys later. And yeah, man. And I'll be back at the end of July. I think I'm booked for the show in the month. I'm booked for the show, guys. I'm booked, for the end of July, which I'm excited about.
You said once a month, so.
Hey, once a month you're going to see my sexy face. Not as sexy as these two, but that's what's going to be going down in the future. And you'll see me in the chats. I'll talk some smack from time to time. I got to combat deep state from time to time. You know what I mean? So. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you for the opportunity, and I appreciate you guys for letting me talk, man. So that's awesome.
You need to start scalping from other channels. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.
No, man. Listen. If I was going to do a podcast, it's going to be this show, man. It's like, I'm not like Chris Jericho. It's like what Jericho used to say, I'll never wrestle for anybody other than McMahon. I'll never be a king with any other king but you guys. So that just is what it is, man. That's how it rolls, but I actually mean it. So that's kind of how it rolls, man. So, but I appreciate
Starting
this podcast.
next week, the Strong One Nation podcast.
Strongly? No, I would never do you guys dirty like that, man. I'm staying out of that game. Shoot, even my volume on TikTok and what's his face has been going down. So, but I've just been crazy busy, and you guys know how it goes, man. Raising families and taking care of kids and trying to help out of the church and trying to just do things that God wants me to do and be responsible. And I think that, we've worked together and put this show in a really good place, man, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future. So love you guys. Did I explain myself good enough?
Yes, Deep State has a heartfelt response. He says, "Have I won? Yes. Yes, I won."
Deep State 1, Strong 1, 0. No, I'm just kidding. War of attrition.
Not to worry,
War of
I'm
attrition.
not a king. I'm still the producer.
Listen,
Still the right
the
hand
Dusty.
for now, unless
No.
things change forever.
Hey, don't assassinate me. That's all I ask, man. Just embargo me to another country or something. You know what I mean?
Enjoy this cup of wine with me.
I love it, man. Well, boys, it's been a good show, man. And Dusty, I'm excited to see you bringing the noise. You better bring some energy, bro. Bring the funk. You got to push him to be the best. You bring his energy, your energy. You just push each other up, man. You just blast off like a freaking rocket, man. Exactly. Houston. Love you guys. Love the show. That's all I got, boys. Send us home, man.
More of a prince.
You've been watching Plausible Foolishness, home of the Room Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, anywhere you can get a podcast, and Minds, Instagram, and soon to be Rumble.
Rumble, baby.
Rumble.
Peace out.
Peace.
I gotta do my job.
The producer.
Dusty!
Dusty! You better bring the Dusties. That's all I gotta say. You don't bring the Dusties, I'm gonna come over and kick your butt.
That was never my job.
That
That
your
was
job.
always yours.
Listen, I am no longer the whipping man, okay? I'm not the whipping. You whip him into shape. Oh my goodness, man. We still live?
Nope.
No. I've muted our mics.
Boys, I love you guys, man. Good show, man. I love you guys.
I'm gonna have to move this over here so I can.
Whew.
Yep.
When do you got me on next? In July, correct?
We're back to the same problem that you started to alleviate.
I was alleviating the problem, and now we're back to it. Thanks a lot, Ray.
I'm sorry. You just got to change the workspace, man. Change the workspace. You have the soundboard and controls in front of you, like low and. Can you do that or not?
We'll figure it out.
I know you will,
Have
because
to.
you guys are smarter than me. Period. That's how it goes. You feel me? Boys,
Yeah, I feel you.
I love you. Matt, I'll see you on Sunday. Dusty.
Definitely. Sorry
I'll
I
see
wasn't
you.
there last weekend.
Dusty the Duke.
Dusty the Duke. Dusty the Duke. That works,
Yeah.
man.
More of a prince or duke.
Yeah.
Duke.
JBN came up with that.
Nice. I like that. Dusty the Duke. Dusty, I'm telling you, man, they love you. I can't wait to see you. I can't see you chop it up with this guy, man.
Does anybody love me?
They do love you.
I
Matt.
do.
Am I the missing link in this? Am I
No,
actually the reason why the show hasn't grown?
No.
Should
I
it be
hope not.
Dusty and Ray? And then
God no.
People appreciate you straight, like keeping the show straight. You know what I mean? And then calling things out when they need to be called out. They do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's just a good element. I'm just saying that you two together, you know, you just gotta whip them a little bit. You gotta Glenn Beckham. You gotta Glenn Beckham a little bit. You know what I mean? So. But no,
Yeah, but
I'm
we're
excited
losing
for
our
you.
Alex.
Huh?
We're losing our Alex.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Listen, man, you're not losing me. You just don't have me on a regular basis. That's just how it is, man. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just listen. I'm Buck Sexton, man. I just come in once a month, bro. You feel me? All right, guys. I love you. I gotta sleep. I get to actually eat food tomorrow. My OMAD is done this month.